I am interested in your thoughts about what influences your behaviors, your beliefs, and your feelings as someone who's involved in A&E and patient care. Thanks for doing the survey. It looked at 14 different attributes critical to an efficient EMS system. However, during our interview, we're going to focus on two of them: legislation, regulation, and medical direction, those two. Legislation kind of refers to the Ministry of Health, the Chief Medical Officer, CDEMA, or the agency having jurisdiction, who is authorized as the lead agency to coordinate EMS activities across the country. Both legislation and regulation can require activities among various agencies to be integrated into order to facilitate a Caribbean-wide standard for EMS services system. It also refers to the implementation of laws that provide protection from liability for field people in terms of medical direction for them, also when they're dealing with unusual situations, and also serving as a liaison that interfaces with the Caribbean EMS. So some of the questions we're going to talk about here. Here's the first one. Tell me about your beliefs regarding the EMS system and the patient care here in Barbados. What are some of your beliefs?
My beliefs concerning EMS and patient care in Barbados.
Yes.
Okay, I believe that it can be improved.
Mm-hmm.
We can, as a team, nurses, doctors, emergency personnel, we can work closer. It's a little fragmented. We can work closer. You including the police and the fire service, or just
accident emergency,
just accident emergency
medical care stuff.
Okay.
What do you believe is the role of legislation and regulation for pre-hospital EMS providers in Barbados?
All right. The role of legislation for pre-hospital in Barbados is to protect the patients, to guide the personnel for the best outcome, and basically to protect patients and to guide personnel in doing the correct things for the best outcome for the patients.
So do you believe that legislation and regulation is important to the success of pre-hospital service care patient outcome?
Yes, it is, very much so.
Okay. How do you think it can affect it? How do you think it can impact pre-hospital EMS services?
We can impact it by doing more research, providing statistics to the persons responsible for legislative changes, and so there's research, statistics, and having more discussion among the various stakeholders as well.
So when we talk about your feelings about the issues involving legislation and regulation, would you characterize your feelings as being negative, indifferent, or positive?
No, I would characterize it as not negative. You mean as it is now? My feelings to what is now?
About the issues involving legislation
about
and regulation in the context of EMS.
Okay.
Do you think you feel negative about it, indifferent, or positive?
I would say positive. Not negative or not indifferent.
Why would you feel this way?
Positive in the sense that I work in it, for instance, for sure, and I think we try hard and we work hard for positive outcomes.
You have any specific situation or scenario where you think these feelings came about?
specific scenarios where my feelings come about.
What do you think that legislation and regulation contributed to you feeling positive about it?
Okay. Even though I say I feel positive, sometimes it may not always be positive, right? Sometimes you may get instances of indifference, and you may have instances of what's the other term? The third one?
Negative or?
Being negative as well, but mainly sometimes indifference. Positive feeling, I would say, come about because even though our resources are very, very limited, sometimes we do have a lot of positive outcomes.
Okay. What do you think in terms of thinking about legislation and regulation influencing behaviors? How do you think it's influencing the behaviors of you or your peers, or even the pre-hospital providers?
Legislation influencing behavior. I think we can do better in terms of legislation to influence better positive outcome. Right now, it may be influencing behaviors because, and especially in pre-hospital, they're limited as to what they can do in terms of care. For instance, like providing something maybe as simple as giving analgesia to persons with pain, while they're in terms of like intubating as well, and like saving measures, right? So I think we have legislation to allow them to do more and practice more, do more for the patient in terms of the things I mentioned before.
So would that be positive? You think the legislation would be helping it positively then?
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah. Now let's move on to some questions about medical direction. Medical direction refers to each Caribbean. Yes. I recorded. Refers to each Caribbean country having a qualified medical director who oversees the country's EMS services. Refers to the appointment sometimes of an EMS director for each country. It requires involvement in clinical care, EMS system design, scope of practice, credentialing, population-based care, occupational health of the providers, and encouraging and initiating research. Tell me about the beliefs that you have regarding the medical direction for pre-hospital providers here in Barbados.
All right. You want the directions I would like to say going?
No, it's saying medical direction usually refers to a qualified EMS medical director person overseeing EMS being delivered here in Barbados. So what are your beliefs regarding medical direction for pre-hospital providers in Barbados?
All right, no,
That's right. Do you believe it's important? Do you believe it's important to EMS service delivery?
Yeah, it's very. You mean in terms of the medical director?
Yes.
Right.
And the direction that they
get to guide.
Yeah.
Do we have a medical director? That's the question. I'm not certain that we have one person that you can say is the medical director.
Okay. If they did, in your mind, whether they do or not, you may not know, obviously.
Okay, yes.
Do you believe that EMS medical direction is important?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Why do you think it's important? Why do you believe it's important?
Right. I believe it's important because that would set the standards for the direction that EMS would be going to in terms of training, legislation, research along that lines.
Okay. Do you think it impacts care of patients, medical direction? Do you think it would impact the care that the patient gets?
Yeah, of course it would impact the care that the patient gets.
Okay. So your feelings regarding it, are you able to tell me a little bit more about your feelings if you have any issues that regarding medical direction for the pre-hospital providers?
Yeah. Like I was saying before, right now I think there's a lot of scope for the pre-hospital providers to get more training to do a lot. So give them more confidence to do more for the patients at the pre-hospital stage.
Okay. How about your thoughts about behaviors? What are some things you think influence the behaviors of A&E doctors who may provide medical direction?
A&E doctors?
That might provide medical direction. What do you think are some things that are influencing their behaviors?
Influencing the A&E doctors' behavior. Positive behavior and negative behavior.
Either one. Yeah. What things influence them, you think?
Well, the long hours that they work, maybe influencing sometimes their behavior. Sometimes they may be not able to get the type of material that they think may allow them to be able to do the job better. The lack of resources. In terms of they may not be able to control the movement of people in the department because they may be influenced by other services within the hospital.
Are you able to tell me a time when you think medical direction positively influenced the behaviors of a doctor or yourself or some of your peers or even the pre-hospital providers that you interact with?
Taking medical decision direction.
If there's none, it's okay. I'm just asking.
No, I would need to really try and think about it carefully. Yeah.
Well, in closing, how long have you been in the profession?
Probably about 15 years.
15 years?
Yeah.
And working in A&E?
Yeah.
15 years in A&E?
Probably around 15 years in A&E. Okay. Yeah.
And you like what you do?
At times. Most of the times.
Most of the time. Yeah.
Most of the times.
Well, we've covered everything I plan to cover. And I want to say, do you have anything you want to add?
To add to it? Maybe just in terms of training, ENTs and A&E nurses, I think if you can establish training with overseas based places like perhaps like US where allow for ENTs to spend time seeing how more developed countries operate and train.
With EMS?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, so thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
And your participant 4812. Stop that.